guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Christina, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a November homeschool recap and December homeschool goals video. I have my coffee. I think last time I was in the tea mode, which I think I'm nearing because I've been overdoing it with the coffee because it is so cold here in New York. Let me know, like, where are you? Is it cold there? Because it's pretty cold here. We've had 1 or 2 mild days, but it has come in fast and furious. If you are watching this video on the day it comes out, I'm also really excited to talk with you guys about the Winter Book Club, which launches today, December 1st. And I'm so excited about it. If you've seen the other seasonal book clubs, I have really enjoyed contributing to them as well as using the bundles myself. And so I want to share with you what I created for the winter book bundle and then just a few of the other books that I plan to do from the winter book bundle. And so I will have it linked down below for you if you want to check out more about it or if you want to grab it. It is only available for a week. And so I don't want you to miss out if that is something that you are interested in. So stay tuned later in the video for that. Okay, so I have been taking some notes as I went throughout the month and very little to prepare for this video, so I will be gathering my thoughts as we go, so just bear with me. So I do have quite a few things on my December wish list for things that I want us to do. However, and I feel like I say this every time, I really do want December to be a slower month. November was okay. I'm going to talk to you guys about like the highs and the lows of November, what went really well, what changes I realized that we needed to make, and kind of what I want that to look like in December as we move into December. So let's recap November really quick. This was my wish list. It's kind of messy and a lot going on here, but the first things on my list were field trips, and the first one was to Plymouth Patuxent Museum to visit the recreated Plymouth settlement and Patuxent Village, as well as the Mayflower too. We did end up going. It was amazing. It was pretty cold because it was like it was the week after the temperature just dropped. Like it had been beautiful weather in like the 60s, even low 70s, which for New York in mid-November is really great. And then it was like 44. The day that we went there. So we were super cold, but it was such a great field trip, especially because it tied in like so beautifully with what we were covering in Playful Pioneers, our curriculum from the Peaceful Press. And it was just perfect. My kids really loved it. I enjoyed it. So I would highly recommend if you are within driving distance or you find yourself in New England to check out the Plymouth Patuxent Museum and the Mayflower too, which they're like 2 minutes away from each other, and you can get a combo ticket. So definitely check those out. Which brings me to something else that we continued in November that we had started end of October, I think, or was it end of September? I don't even remember now, guys. I'll have to go back and look at my notes. But either way, no, it would have had to been end of October because we had only been like finishing up month 1 when we went to Plymouth Patuxent. And so it worked out beautifully. Moving forward with Playful Pioneers, last week, we only did, I think, 1 day of Playful Pioneers. And so my plan for December is we will continue Playful Pioneers. We're not going to put it on pause or anything like that, but we will continue it with the option of not doing the 4 days a week, which is a 4-day-a-week curriculum, which I like that it's not a 5-day-a-week curriculum. I tend to prefer the 4-day-a-week curriculums. But we may even do it 2 days or 3 days. I think 1 is probably not enough, but we will do it 2 to 4 days, depending on the week, throughout the month of December, breaking when we need to, obviously. I have no major goals with that, but I like the slowed down approach. I love that art is included and practical life skills, and that it is a literature-based curriculum, that it includes Bible study and hymns to sing together and all of that. So it is a beautiful way to start our day, as like a morning time that leads into more like morning lessons, but still takes a Charlotte Mason style approach. It is still like living books curriculum, which I really, really am loving in this season and find myself moving more and more towards that style of curriculum. Which brings me to Idlewild. So I talked to you guys a little bit about Idlewild the last few videos, I think. We loved Idlewild throughout the month of November. I would have to say that Idlewild was probably our main focus throughout the month of November, even though we loved Playful Pioneers and we did a ton with Playful Pioneers, including that field trip. We did G for geology, L for landforms, and M is for minerals from Idlewild. If you didn't already know or you missed the videos where I talked about it, it goes through the alphabet in terms of the organic studies and nature study. And you do not have to go in order. You could, and I could see that being like a wonderful curriculum to do throughout the year. But for us, I wanted to take the kids on a field trip to a nearby cavern, which we haven't done. So we didn't get to it in November, but we will be doing it like within the next couple days after you see this video, definitely within the week. We are super excited. I wanted to finish up M is for minerals before we went, and then we had Thanksgiving and all of that. So it got kind of like pushed a week, but we will definitely be going. So I guess it's a December goal because technically it'll be like the first couple of days in December, but we're super excited about that. We loved doing Idlewild. Again, I love that it is a literature-based curriculum. I love that it has the word studies, which are the Bible studies that go along with every single lesson, which is an optional add-on. You do not have to purchase that. But I have both of them, and that was one of the main reasons why I chose it. And so we went through learning about geology, we went through learning about landforms and minerals to prepare for this trip to a nearby cavern to check out the caves and the cave formations and all of those things. And I really think my kids are going to love it, so I'm excited to take them. We will be pausing Idlewild, however, for the month of December. So as of right now, I do not have any plans to use Idlewild in December. Not because I didn't like it, not because we need a break for it, but just simply because I never intended it to be a full year curriculum for us. We will kind of jump in and out of it, and we will keep Playful Pioneers kind of like as our steady through December. So one thing that I noticed did not go well in November, as much as we loved Playful Pioneers, as much as we loved Idlewild, doing both of them at the same time was too much. So it wasn't too much for me, it wasn't really too much for my older kids, but it was too much for my younger kids. So although they are not made to sit at the table the whole time, I do encourage them to start our morning time with us at the table, at least while we like pray and sing a hymn and like start to read books. But I let them wander off as they see fit. They are 2 and 4. So I am not like worried about formal education for them at all right now. But I also cannot expect them, although they do beautifully playing independently much of the time. I noticed that like my 4-year-old and really my 2-year-old too would start acting up, and it was just too long to expect them, even with breaks. Like I would give my older kids breaks. It would be like our whole morning lesson time after breakfast until we would like truly break for like lunch and nap time for my 2-year-old and independent work would be us doing Playful Pioneers first, and then our Idlewild, and then we would break. And then, like I said, with like shorter breaks in between that, I would give them like 10 to 15 minutes to go run around outside, or 20 minutes, or even 30 minutes, or whatever it was. But it was still too much time of us sitting and doing school for my younger kids, and not necessarily how long I want to be sitting and doing school even for my older kids all the time. Sometimes I think it's okay, and we did so many fun things with it, and I think that maybe is why, like with Idlewild, we did a lot of the hands-on activities that were recommended in the curriculum. We also brought in the little passports, caves and crystals set that I shared with you guys that had different experiments in there that tied in with what we were learning. We had a Nat Geo geology or earth science kit where we pulled in a bunch of fun activities from that as well. We had a really great time with it. It was just too long, especially for my younger ones. They were getting out of control, and I was getting frustrated because I'm like, it's just a little bit longer. But I realized that it wasn't really them, it was that I needed to make adjustments. So one of the major adjustments that I'm making for December is to shorten our morning time. And so what I found was happening, or the rhythm we had gotten into, was that we did like all of our family subjects together in the morning block, I guess you would call it. Then we would have lunch, free time, chores, me putting my 2-year-old down for a nap, and then my older kids would do their independent work all throughout like the second half of our day, essentially. And then we would finish up with like either a short lesson that I needed to do with my older boys and read alouds, or just read alouds, depending on how late it was getting. We would probably be fine with that if it was just the older kids. However, it was starting to not work, and it was starting to get frustrating. and not kind of the vibe of the day that I wanted it to be, where it felt stressful. And so I realized I needed to make a change. I really prayed about it and asked God to show me, like, why is this not working? And I feel like it was such a simple thing that I could have realized on my own, but for whatever reason, it just didn't click. And so what we're going to be moving more towards is half of that morning time being family subjects as a whole family, however long the little ones stay. And then the other half of that time, other than breaks and things, my older 3 doing independent work, and then splitting up the afternoon that same way. Instead of just all family subjects in the morning, all independent work in the afternoon, we'll kind of break up both of those blocks of time into a little bit of both. And I think that's going to work better. We've started to move towards that in the last week or so, and it seemed to be working much better, which is why we paused Playful Pioneers that last week, just because I was like, all right, let's finish out Idlewild strong, since we have these 3 little mini units within it that we're trying to do back to back leading up to this field trip. Let's just finish that out strong, and then we'll jump back into Playful Pioneers. So that's why I decided to do that. That was a mouthful, but that was like a major change that's going to be happening in sort of like our flow for the day, which I feel like was initially like the plan, but it just kind of happened that we transitioned to not doing any independent work in the morning, because we were getting excited about like art projects and tea time, science experiments and things like that, like lots of hands-on things that do take time. And so it ended up, well, oh, oops, it's lunchtime now. We didn't get to any independent work, so we'll work on that in the afternoon. Well, again, that would be fine, I think, if it was just my older 3, but that does not work for my younger 2. And that's okay. So we have to learn to like shift, speaking to myself here, shift and change for what's going to work best for everyone. Like, it shouldn't feel like, and that's what was starting to bother me. I'm like, this really shouldn't feel like a frustrating, stressful thing. There's no reason for it to feel like this. Although there will be frustrating or stressful moments, I don't want that to be the norm. So that is a major change. I will let you guys know how that works out next month, but that is a major change moving into December from what we had been doing. Little passports we loved. So that little like Caves and Crystals kit from them, which was the science expeditions. They have a whole bunch of different kinds of things. If I remember, I'll link them down below. But we did really love that, and we definitely plan to use more of them in the future. Like, so far we've gotten forensic science kit, which I'm not sure when we're going to do that one, but we have it. And then the ooey gooey sticky science, it's like making slime and things, which I know my kids will love. I'm not super excited about it, but we will maybe pull that out in the dead of winter when we're like getting bored and we need something fun to do. I guess that was really all I had. I did not have any real lofty goals, I don't think, for November. I really didn't. But that's pretty much it. Oh, actually, there were more independent updates, I would say, this month. We started the First Step Phonics books with my 4-year-old. He loves them. I shared those in a previous video. I had in my mind that I really needed to like make sure that he knew his letters, sounds, and could identify them all before we moved into like phonics books or like 3-letter words and things like that. And he's much more interested in reading and trying to figure out the 3-letter words than he is the letters, sounds, and identification. So I'm just going with it, and he's liking it. I wasn't pushing learning the letters and things. I know some people do at this age, and that is totally your prerogative. For me, I do not push it. I offer and I introduce, and if he is not interested, then I forget about it and I introduce it another time. And when I figure when he's ready, he will show interest, which is what he's doing with those books. So I feel like the books are motivating him to learn the letter sounds because he sees their purpose. Because he sees them in words, which are in a short sentence that go along with this story that he actually is interested in. So I wanted to share that, something that we're doing with my 4-year-old. My 2nd grader, or my 7-year-old, has since started The Good and the Beautiful Math 2, and she is loving it. She loves math. She said it's her favorite subject. So she's always really liked math, but I feel like The Good and the Beautiful Level 2 has even grown that love even just in this first month. She loves the math box with the manipulatives that comes with it. She loves the money that's in there and the money activities that they have in the curriculum. The lessons are nice and simple and short. So this is the Simply Good and Beautiful Math. I know it is a completely revised math. I do not have any experience with their old math. I heard that it was long and all these things, and they made the changes based on that feedback. I can tell you Simply Good and Beautiful Math for someone who doesn't like math. The lessons are short, so you have the parent or teacher parent-student section that you teach them the lesson and do the activities with them, like they have your support. And then there's the independent review portion, which she loves because she feels like her older brothers. And so it's working wonderfully. Absolutely love it. So she did that. My 6th grader started the Good and the Beautiful Language Arts Level 5, which I did an unboxing of a couple weeks ago. He loves it. I love it. I purposely didn't choose level 6 for a variety of reasons. Maybe I'll do a video more focused on that. Let me know if you're interested down below. If you want to see maybe like do a lesson with us or have me talk more about it or anything like that, just let me know. But he's loving it. I got him the handwriting level 6, which I'm so glad I did. He loves it. And I got him the language arts level 5, and he is absolutely loving that. My 10th grader, my 15-year-old, he is still doing high school level 1. Again, if you want to see a video on that or if you want to know anything about it, let me know. I have mentioned in the past why we ended up starting it in 10th grade and not 9th grade. So if you have more questions about that, let me know. But I really want to jump into what we do plan on doing in December other than just curriculum. We may all need to just accept, myself included, that these homeschool recap and goal videos are going to be longer videos, and just be okay with it, because I still have so much that I want to share with you that I'm so excited about. Oh, there's a bird on the tree. One thing I like about when there are no leaves on the trees is you notice like all these birds' nests and birds that you like didn't always see before. One thing I did want to mention about Idlewild, I almost forgot. I'm not going to worry about how long this is, guys. It is what it is, okay? One thing that I wanted to mention that I feel like is not a flaw or fault of Idlewild, and I know, or I'm pretty sure it is the units that we chose that focused on landforms and geology and minerals. It's kind of inevitable that you are going to get books that reference millions and billions of years left and right. And so I don't want to open up a whole theological debate or anything like that, because I tend to do that sometimes, like unintentionally over on Instagram. But I really don't, and I have so much research left to do, which I'm getting to a point here. I have so much research left to do in my understanding and beliefs in how old the earth is and young earth versus old earth and how those things align biblically, evolution versus creation, and all of those things. I have always believed creation versus evolution, but what I had a really hard time figuring out, like I went to public school, so I was taught that things were millions and billions of years old, and I just never really questioned it. However, I struggled when I would look at the story of creation. I just couldn't make things make sense. And I'm not saying we always can make things make sense, but it kind of irked me. And then my older boys would start asking me questions, and I didn't have answers for it. And then there were all these books that say like this formed 260 million years ago. And it's like, yeah, I don't know about that. So without getting into a whole long discussion about it, I have decided that there are certain books that I just don't feel comfortable reading my kids, especially because they already know about that belief system. They already know about evolution. I don't need to keep bringing it up with them. And so my perspective with my older kids is that we are going to try to kind of shy away from those kinds of books. We have a few that I still have not decided to give up because I feel like they have like amazing pictures, and the main thing about the book is pictures, and then there'll be like a small little caption that talks about how many years old. And so I still feel like a little bit on the fence about like whether or not I feel like that is problematic enough to get rid of it. So that's a whole other, I could do a whole video on that alone. However, I did want to share what I am using to learn alongside my older 2 boys in this regard. And I think I've shared this on here, and I've definitely shared it on Instagram. And it's this book, It Couldn't Just Happen. Knowing the Truth About God's Awesome Creation. This book has been amazing. We started this at the end of summer, got a little bored, I'm not gonna lie, because it started with a lot of like space stuff. And it was just really information dense, and I was like, maybe another time, and I put it down. And then we got a good amount of the way into our Idlewild lessons with geology, landforms, and minerals, and I was like, I need something that's going to like address this instead of us just keep brushing it off like, yeah, millions of years. So I would start saying like many years ago, and it's like, okay, but how many? And the younger kids don't care, but the older kids kind of care. And so I didn't want it to just be this mockery thing where we like roll our eyes and we're like evolution nonsense, which is my 11-year-old says. He'll be like, this book has a lot of evolution nonsense. But anyway, I wanted something that addressed it in an approach that aligns with our faith and our belief in God as creator and biblical truth. And this book has done a really great job so far. We are only on chapter 5, but we picked it back up and it was exactly what we needed in this season. So we will actually continue, even though we're putting down Idlewild right now, we will continue reading this throughout December and probably throughout the rest of the year. And so this is something that we will also be doing in December. I want December to be very literature based, aside from slowing down, cooking and baking together, just having all of the cozy vibes in our home and just feelings of togetherness. I just want lots of books. I feel like because we did so much with like Playful Pioneers and Idlewild, which I loved, and then they had like their independent studies and all of that, we didn't do as much reading as I would have loved as far as like read alouds. So we have quite a few read alouds going on right now. We still need to finish up our Christian Heroes Then and Now, David Livingstone. We're almost done with that. We have Little Britches, which is the main read aloud that is going along with our Playful Pioneers curriculum at the moment. And we have Anne of Green Gables, which is just one I had decided I wanted us to read in the beginning of October. We have those going. We're also reading Pax with my husband, and that's taking us a really long time because it was kind of like an idea to do like a nighttime read aloud with just myself and my husband and my older boys and possibly my 7-year-old if she was awake. But it's really hard to do it like when everyone is awake. Like one of us is always sleeping and we don't want to move on without them. So that's been like a little problematic, but it's also been really cool. So I will update you. I think we're on chapter 15 and we started it like, I don't know, probably over a month ago. So anyways, I mentioned earlier in the video that the winter book bundle launches today. And so I want to be able to share this with you because I'm super excited about it. I love seasonal books, like swapping out the books seasonally in our home. And I don't know, there's so many winter books that I love. Maybe it's because we're like inside more because it's colder and it's darker and there's just more cozy reading vibes, I guess, in the winter. And so I want to share with you what I created for the winter book bundle and then also some of the books that I know I am going to do from the winter book bundle. It doesn't necessarily mean we'll get to all of them, and it doesn't necessarily mean that we won't do other ones that are in the book bundle, but the ones that I have pulled from our collection that we already own that I know I would love to do a little bit of a unit with from the book bundle, because I really want December to be lots of reading, just lots of like cozying up with a cup of tea and reading all the books with my kids. Okay, so the book that I contributed with a book companion guide for is Winter Sleep, A Hibernation Story. If you're not familiar with this book, I really, really love it. It has beautiful illustrations. It's a story about a boy who goes to visit his granny and just exploring with her at her beautiful home and her land. I created a companion guide to go along with this. So I'm just gonna not show you the whole thing, but I'm just gonna flip through really quick. So an intro to hibernation. What do I know? What do I want to know? What did I learn? Understanding the story. So this is going back into the story and kind of just understanding what's happening. This is a little bit more about that. And then it goes through understanding the different animals and their experience during this time of year. A little bit about literary techniques, so talking about alliteration in the story. Some tracing for the younger kids. Some copy work for a little bit older. Some coloring pages. Some cursive along with the coloring pages. And then some copy work from quotes from the book in like 3 different levels of print, 3 different levels of cursive. And that is pretty much it. There's some stuff about like a winter nature walk, kind of doing what Granny Sylvie and the boy did. And then some information on notebooking, how you could kind of notebook to go along with this book. So that is the unit that I created, or kind of like the companion guide. I don't know if I would necessarily call it a unit, but I always create these things with my kids in mind, making sure there is at least something there for ages 2 through 15, really, to kind of be a part of it, even if it's not mainly for them. So I thought about mainly my 7-year-old, but then things that I could do to have my younger and older kids included as well. Books that I will be doing that will also be part of the bundle are Over and Under, The Snow. This is a wonderful series. It's one of our favorites. The Mitten is a favorite around here. There is a unit that goes along with that. Owl Moon, which we will actually be reading this week and doing activities with it this week because we plan to go owling. There is a nature conservatory not far from us that is doing like an owling outing. And so I'm so excited for that because that's what the boy and his father do in this book, is they go owling. So super excited about that. And then Goodbye Autumn, Hello Winter, which is a seasonal favorite for us. There's one for every season and we read each one of them every season. So those are just some of the ones. Oh, and then also Winter Dance is one that we will be doing as well. This is a board book, and I know there is also just a regular hardcover version as well. Two more things that I want to share with you that will be a part of our December homeschooling are the Nature Study Club. We paused Nature Study Club for November, but we are jumping back in for December. I actually decided that I wasn't going to for December and keep it really simple with everything that I've already told you, like just Playful Pioneers, independent work, and lots of books. And then I saw the December Nature Study Club topic and I was like, nope, I want to do that. So what I may actually do, so it doesn't feel like I'm just continuing to pile things on or take one thing away and add something in its place and still be just as busy, is we may take 2 months to do this. Go ahead and do it December and January instead of worrying about the fact that this is just the December Nature Study Club. And so the topic is the Great White North. And I did print all of the student journals. I am not printing the teacher's guide this time to save on ink. I am going to just print the selected pages. They do give the recommendations of like, if you don't plan to print the whole thing, here's the handful of pages you are going to need to print. So that's what I plan on doing there. And I also just wanted to show you that there are 2 options for covers this time around as another way to save ink. So before they were all these beautiful watercolored, I don't know what's going on outside. All of these beautiful watercolored covers, but it took a lot of ink. So you have the option to print the one that is not colored. And what I plan to do is let my kids just go ahead and watercolor those or color those or whatever. But I did print 1 or 2 so that you can see how beautiful they are. And I'm not going to do a flip through on these. Let me know if you're interested in a flip through. I definitely will have like a quick sped up flip through over on Instagram. But if you want to see a more in-depth one, let me know down below and maybe I can get to it in the next week or so. It'll just take too much time in a video like this. But I will link Nature Study Club down below if you are interested. And then I have one last thing that is definitely going to be a huge part of our December homeschooling, and that is knowledge crates. Just yesterday, my winter knowledge crates came in the mail. It's a big box because I get both the preschool crate and the knowledge crate, and I'm so excited. I wish I could do a whole unboxing of the knowledge crates for you. Let me know if you want to know more about it. I will probably not do a full unboxing because those videos don't tend to do well on my channel for whatever reason, but I did take a peek at them yesterday because I was so excited. So I will show you what goes along with my plans already for December with lots of books is that both the preschool crate and the school age crate come with tons of books. So here are just 4 of the books that come in the school age crate. I know that this is definitely going to be one that my 7-year-old wants to read independently. Ice Island, I think probably my 11-year-old will be interested in this. Just looking at it, it seems like a topic he might like, or we could do it as a read aloud. This one, I also envision my 7-year-old, she might need some help with this because it's going to be a little bit above her reading level, but it's going to tie in beautifully with the Nature Study Club unit, with all of the other book units we're doing, and just all of the winter vibes. And then this one looks really sweet that I think I'm going to do as a read aloud if we can fit it in. Miracles on Maple Hill. Sounds really sweet. I'm kind of surprised that I've never heard of it before. Let me know if you've heard of this one before because it looks like it's a classic. And then I will show you just a quick peek at the crates themselves because they are jam-packed, you guys. Like, it never ceases to amaze me how much stuff they can get in here. So this is the school age crate. You always have your activity guide. The books couldn't even fit in here. They had to like pack them separately. That's how much stuff is in here. But the 5th book, because there are 5 books in each, the 5th book for the school age crate is not a chapter book, but it's How to Catch a Snowman. I know my kids are gonna love that. But look at all of these activities in here, you guys. There is a math scramble game. There's tons of model magic. There's always paint and Play-Doh accessories. There are STEAM activities. Even like if you need glue and scissors and stuff like that for any of the activities, they are in here. So much stuff that I cannot wait to share. I share a lot of this stuff as we do it over on Instagram, so if you're not following me there, definitely check me out over there if you want to see more of this stuff in action. And then I'll give you a sneak peek of the preschool crate really quick before we go. But let me know, have you tried knowledge crates? We really love them. We use them a ton. And winter time is one of the main times that we use them because we are not outside as much, although that is a goal. You can add that to December goals, is to be outside more in the winter, like find ways to be outside more. So here is the preschool crate, also chock full. And also they had so much stuff that they had to add an extra box this month. They really like go all out. They do not skimp on how much stuff they put in here. So also comes with its own activity guide, 5 books. So all of these, I know my kids are gonna be super excited to read. These are ones that I could definitely see my 7-year-old reading independently. These will be kind of like easy for her, like an easy read that she'll enjoy. And then again, Play-Doh, paint, all of the materials that you'll need to do all of the different activities and crafts and experiments. So there are always like at least one actual canvas in there. There are dry erase sheets for tracing and copy work and so many different things in here. So you have to check out Knowledge Crates. You can get 15% off your box if you use my code Rooted15. So my link and my code will be down below. I have links to Idlewild I'll put down below and the Peaceful Press for Playful Pioneers. I think almost everything that I shared for you today, I have a link and or code for. So definitely check out the description box below if you want to check out any of the things that I've shared. I can't wait to do all of this stuff with my kids, but I am going to try to stay slow and calm and peaceful for December. That is the main goal. And then however these things fit in best, we will use them. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have stuck around to the end, let me know. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you are continuing to like these recap and goal videos so that I know whether or not to do them into 2023. That's crazy that we're even saying that. And if you're not already following me over on Instagram, you can follow me there at rooted_homelife. I hope to see you soon in one of my next videos. And until next time, stay rooted.